In ancient society, where the king was no different from the state, everything about the king was sacred and should not be manipulated arbitrarily. Anything touched by the king was considered precious no matter how insignificant it was, and there was also a custom not to use letters written in blood so that the common people could not call or write the name of the king carelessly. In the days when everything about the king was precious, the king's face was said to be a dragon's face, so you couldn't carelessly look at it. For this reason, portraits bearing the king's face were also considered precious. The expression ioeo, which means a portrait of a king, is used so easily and for granted today, but in fact, this word was born quite late. Originally, the king's portrait used to be called a mixture of terms such as Jinyang, Yongjong, and Wangsang. However, in 1713, the 39th year of King Sukjong, while drawing King Sukjong's royal portrait, a government official named Li Yi-myong suggested it, and the current name was born. Although precious, it was also important to keep the faces of kings, so almost all kings of Joseon consistently produced royal portraits and managed them thoroughly. However, a considerable number of portraits were burned or destroyed as they went through several wars and fires, and the remaining portraits were also lost due to a fire in Busan in 1954 after the Korean War, except for 15 pieces. Since it was also the king's duty to keep royal portraits, all palaces and government offices built in the Joseon dynasty had buildings of various sizes to enshrine royal portraits. The same was true of Gyeongwegang Palace, and the main hall where the royal portrait was enshrined was Taeryeongjeon Hall. The meaning of Taeryeong is plentiful and comfortable, and it is said that the name was given in the hope that the portrait will be well enshrined. As with other Gyeongwegang buildings, the date of foundation is not clear. It may be because it was not a building that was used as important as Gyeongjeon or Pyeongjeon, but it is difficult to determine its origin because there are not many records of its construction or repair. Taeryeongjeon first appeared in the annals in 1744. It is an article in the annals of King Yeongjo. Judging from the fact that Taeryeongjeon was repaired at this time, it can be seen that it was built before that time. It is said that King Yeongjo, who paid the greatest attention to Gyeongui Palace among the kings of the Joseon dynasty, enshrined 7 of the 13 portraits he left behind in Taeryeongjeon Hall. Considering King Yeongjo's interest in Gyeongui Palace, King Jeongjo used the area around Taeryeongjeon as a funeral space when King Yeongjo died. Since then, it has been used as an enshrinement place for the deceased, and is sometimes used as a funeral space. When the buildings of Gyeongwegang Palace were demolished due to the reconstruction of Gyeongbokgung Palace, Taeryeongjeon Hall was also demolished. During the Japanese colonial era, the Gyeongwegang area was the area of Gyeongshung Middle School, and after liberation, it was the area of Seoul High School. Taeryeongjeon is a building with 5 rooms on the front and 2 rooms on the side, located on the hill west of Midnightjeon. It is a building located at the westernmost end of Gyeongwegang Palace. It is built on a 2-story high podium in consideration of the influence of the topography, just like the Midnight Palace. It is located on a low hill, and there is even a podium here, so it is a building that boasts a sense of coercion. In the front is Taeryeongmun, the main gate of Taeryeongjeon, but it is a little small to be called the main gate of a palace. The interior is completely open, so it can be used as a single space, and a copy of the portrait of King Yeongjo, who paid special attention to Gyeongwegang Palace, is on display. The building was restored in the 2000s, so it doesn't have an antique look, but it is large and each line stretches out coolly, giving a refreshing feeling. However, the created space itself is a bit narrow, so you may feel stuffy as if large buildings are lined up in a cramped place.